Alright, go ahead and open up the Section 2 notebook and let's get started. So first, we will run a setup cell. This will import all the libraries that we need, including PyKX's KX. And then, what we're going to do is start off with just getting a little bit more in depth on indexing and slicing. So to show this, we are going to read in a CSV file of Bitcoin data. And this data will contain data for Bitcoin trades taking place every single minute from 2017 up to early 2024. So it's quite a large file, and it will be a large table. So here we can get a little sample of what that looks like. So we currently have a PyKX table. It contains rows and columns. You can see all the columns here, so we have timestamp, and there'll be a row for every single minute. And then there's all sorts of other data in here too. And one of the interesting columns that we'll be looking at is at the end of each minute, we have a close price. So we'll be doing some operations on this column as well as some of the other columns in this PyKX table. So a ton of data here. So let's use some of this data and do some basic indexing. So what we're going to do here is take that table, and we're going to identify what is the first entry in the number of trades column. So if we scroll over, we can see, okay, number of trades, here's the column we're interested in. We just put that into square brackets to find the column that we're interested in, and then say we want the first row of that column. So this is that 0 index right here, asking for the first row, and we'd expect then to get 3H in return. And indeed, we do. We get 3 in return. So why don't you go ahead, pause the video, and try this exercise where you're going to return the closing price. So think about the column that you'd be interested in, would be the close column, for the 100th transaction that's taken place, or the 100th minute that's taken place. Go ahead, pause the video, try that out, and then reveal the solution to check your work. Now after you've done that, we'll go through this other example here where we're going to use slicing to get the first 24 hours of our data set. And what we're interested in is the closing price at each minute for those first 24 hours, or 1440 minutes. So we're going to use slicing here just to achieve the first 1440 minutes, which would be the first 24 hours of our data set upon the close column. And we can see we get a vector of real numbers as our output. This is a PyKX vector. Now take a moment, pause the video, try exercise 5, and then when you're done, reveal the solution to check your work. Okay, so now let's learn about some data manipulation operations, and specifically using the method of the Pandas-Like API, which is available to us in PyKX. So just like you would deal with Pandas series or data frames, we can do similar operations within our PyKX objects. So we know we have our first day prices BTC vector of numbers, and say we want to find the mean of all the numbers held in a vector. In this case, we can just say our vector dot mean to get the result there, and this will give us our mean. Now we could also say what is the minimum value in that vector, vector.min. Same with maximum, and finally we can find the median. So the idea is that you can apply very easily these manipulative operations onto our PyKX objects. So now that we know how to apply the Pandas-Like API to our PyKX objects, go ahead and try exercise 6, and once you've completed it, reveal the solution to check your work.